All right, yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, welcome to Garifuna Music on Talk with DJ Labuga. We're live straight from Long Beach, California. We have on the line, of course, the one and only James Lovell. James Lovell, Hidabiangi Nomada.
Yes. What do you got, Brother Ronnie?
All right, man.
DJ
Thank
Labuga.
you. Thank you for taking our call tonight. We are back after 2 weeks of absence, after 2 weeks of having experienced some technical difficulties here in the studio. The computer crashed, so we were unable to broadcast the show. But we are glad to have a man of the caliber such as you, man. James Lovell. We love you, man. Thank you for taking our call. And let us begin this beautiful interview as we approach Thanksgiving tomorrow. So how are you?
Well, what do you got, bro? I'm fine. Thank God, Yeah.
Well, I want to remind the audience that we are live on Radio Centroamérica in Los Angeles and the West Coast, and also live in the East Coast on lmbroots.com radio in New York. Of course, that's from the 502 crew. And estamos en vivo y a todo color allá en Santa Fe, Colón, Guiriga, a través de Radio Guiriga 99.9 FM en Honduras. So, yes, man. Thank you, James Lovell. We have a lot to talk about. One of the things that I wanted to mention, first of all, is congratulations on the work that you're putting in St. Vincent, man. You have been going back to back every year for the past 4 years. So next year, 2015, we'll celebrate the 5th year anniversary of you traveling to the motherland, to Yurumin, to do the work that you do with the children, to bring back the culture, the music, the Garifuna.
Yes, that is true. If as long as God's going to provide and our ancestors, it will happen. La sucederá, bravo.
Yes, man. Beautiful, beautiful. How was the beginning of this project? Who was involved? I mean, we want to know how the flame was started, how this whole project, which is wonderful, came about.
Okay. All right, let me indulge. Before going to St. Vincent, I would want to start from the very beginning, if that's possible.
Yes.
You see, because being here in New York, I started working mostly with the language retrieval program, with the Garifuna language, that is, way back in 1995. This was when there was a Garifuna cultural performing company by the name of Ilagale, which translates roots.
Yes.
And myself, as the musical director, was responsible to teach the children songs, traditional songs, and these are children who were born here in New York and to Garifuna parents.
That's wonderful.
But they were not, but they didn't know how to speak the language. So myself and my business partner, Eleanor Bullock, she teaches the kids the choreography, songs. It was basically me and her who was running the program, Ilagale. Yes, and it went pretty well because our children and other Garifuna children were learning every weekend in the Bronx. And eventually, over time, the children grew up, they went to college and stuff like that, and some of them even took courses do researches for their college credits with Garifuna, in Garifuna, which was part of their culture, and they had substantial amount of information and knowledge about their culture through Ilagale. So it was a wonderful thing that was taking place here around that time. Mm-hmm. But it ends in 2005, okay? And that's when me again and Eleanor, we were instrumental in taking the program, what we're doing in Ilagale Roots here in New York. We were able to take it to Dangriga, to Belize,
Oh,
in
okay.
2005. In 2005, but we call it Habina Hagarinago,
I
dance
remember that.
Garifuna.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And yes, and what we did, we put together a manual. It's like it's the nuts and bolts of Garifuna music, Garifuna poems, the songs that
Uh-huh.
they need to learn. We all condense it and put it together in a book form. And
Oh.
that was a very strategic move that we did because it was available to the children when we get to Dangriga so that they can look at the manual, go through it, and to look at the songs or the poems that they want to recite or to perform on stage. So doing that was like half the battle, so to speak, and it was a huge success. The children were very enthusiastic. They were
Wow.
learning, absorbing the songs, the poems, the dance, and there I come in. I start working with the kids down there.
Uh-huh.
It was not very difficult when it comes to the drumming because there were some very talented kids in Dangriga. But what I did was I start teaching them dynamics. That is another element in music that was lacking, where they start playing the music, but then they're playing loud and fast, and it's throughout the music. They were not slowing down when they supposed to, or they were not playing slower and getting soft, put in some different dynamics in the music.
Right.
So that's
Uh-huh.
when I start working with them, and they pick that up too. They're so quick to learn. The kids, the children, period. They're also always quick to learn, and 2005 Habina Hagarinago in Dangriga in Belize. We did perform. We performed in Dangriga. We performed in Punta Gorda. We performed in Belmapan, and we also performed at the Bliss Institute in Belize City.
Wow,
And
that's a lot of stuff that
it
you
was
guys been
wonderful.
doing, man. That's
It was
great.
wonderful.
Yes.
It was really, really wonderful, and to the point where we were also invited to go back and do Habina Hagarina Go 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we went back in 2008. Unfortunately, the Garifuna international Garifuna artist Andy Palacio, he passed away in
Oh,
2007.
yes, yes.
So we dedicated part of 2008 Habina Hagarinagu to Andy, to celebrate his accomplishment,
Right,
to
right.
take Garif and put it out into the world. Also Belize at the same time, and 2008 Habina Hagarinagu in Belize. It was another success. It was so a wonderful thing. It was very rewarding to see the children in Belize and Dangriga, absorbing their culture, really, really, taking it in. They were involved. Every day they were coming to the workshop. They never missed a day. It was a wonderful experience. I can never forget the looks in some of these kids' face. They're trying, they're laughing, they're having fun on a daily basis. I was a little concerned because the kids, I know the children were very enthusiastic. I know that they love they love what they were doing. They love their culture. But my concern was if it was going to be sustainable, if the leaders, the Garifuna leaders, if they were going to step up to the plate to make it an annual event for the children,
Right.
because
Uh-huh.
children are always there, they're always available. So if it was able for the leaders, the Garifuna leaders, that is to create the scenario, to create that environment, where the children are there to learn, are available with instruments and with, the songs, the dance, the drumming, the history of the culture. I thought it would have been a wonderful thing, but 2008 was the last time myself and Eleanor Bullock went to Belize to do Habina Hagarinago. And here in New York, as a Garifuna artist, I consistently, with that passion of my culture and the little that I know about Garifuna, I fuse the Garifuna that I know with the music, with my music ability, my music talent. I fuse that together along with education. I fuse the education and music together like an edutainment, so to speak. Putting education and music together and entertainment. It's edutainment, and that's what I start doing here in New York, in Brooklyn. But my method, my forte of teaching the language through music was to use music, use songs, Garifuna songs,
right?
And
right.
it was so easy for the kids to learn the songs, and eventually from repetition and singing it and internalizing the lyrics of the songs, they were able to master the speaking of the language, and to the point where the kids were learning, and I kept doing that. It's something that I usually do every weekend here in Brooklyn, and then I came in contact with several other passionate Garifuna men and women from the different diaspora. I met Trish St. Hill. I met James Cordis. I met Verna Authors. Then Kyla Herbert and my friend, my business partner, Eleanor Bullock, and we were able to come together to put our minds together to brainstorm about going to St. Vincent to do a Garifuna cultural retrieval program.
Right.
And with our experience, me and Eleanor from Habina Hagarinagu, and what we've done in Illegale here in New York, it was not very difficult to come up with another program to take to St. Vincent. Our dilemma now was funding.
Yes,
yes. It was very difficult getting funding for the program that we want to endeavor on. So we eventually, decide to go with just bare minimum, with just our own, only the funds that we could generate on our own,
But overall,
so we went
James,
for the
overall, James, I think it's a mountain of effort. It's not only the money that is needed, but also the manpower. I think you have taken upon a very important task of bringing the culture back to the motherland, to Yurume, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and specifically to the capital city of, what is the name of the city, the capital city again? Kingston Town, right?
Kingston. Yeah, Kingston.
Oh, Kingstown, okay.
It's
Kingstown,
Kingstown, Town. Kingstown.
Yes, beautiful.
It's always mistaken with Kingston, Jamaica, but it's Kingstown, St. Vincent.
Correct.
And the Grenadines.
So I want to take the opportunity.
Go ahead.
I want to take the opportunity to give you guys the encouragement that you guys need to continue to do this, because you don't need it. You already have started this project without the encouragement of anybody. It was something that you guys felt that it was needed, and as we do it in Los Angeles through the GAHFU, Garifuna Language and Culture program here, I mean, you guys are taking on a monstrous job of bringing this cultural retrieval program to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which is way far away. You got to make the 2 or 3 stops along the trip to be able to reach your destination, since there is no airport built at this point that will accommodate big airplanes. So flying from here to Bahamas or from here to wherever you need to fly to be able to reach to the island is already a big endeavor. So congratulations to you, to Ms. Bullock and Ms. Trish Hill, and everybody who I haven't mentioned, who you already mentioned, who is involved in this project. Man, you guys have done such a wonderful job. I think that the community needs to know this, because a lot of people don't know what's been going on with this cultural retrieval program, which has been going on for 4 years in St. Vincent,
Right.
and previous to that in Belize, of course.
Yes, that's correct. And Ronnie, you also want to pay a tribute and homage to those who started this program, or this humongous program that we're doing now,
Mm-hmm.
before we did it. Understand? Because there were people in Dangriga and from Belize
Oh, wow.
who were reaching out to Saint Vincent long before we started thinking about doing Habinaha and or Yuga Cure in Saint Vincent and the Grenadines.
Wow.
And one known person who went selflessly to Saint Vincent to teach the Garifuna languages. Oh man, Miss Castillo, Linda Castillo.
Oh, I see.
That's Rodel Castillo's mother.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
She's a pioneer in teaching Garifuna to Vincentian there in Saint Vincent,
Wow.
and you want to let the public know that also.
No, definitely.
And
They heard it from you directly, so congratulations.
Exactly, and there was also another man who was very instrumental in to establish that contact, that severed tie with Saint Vincent and the Grenadines, and his name is Mr. Cornelius Cato.
Oh, wow.
Okay, he was very instrumental in establishing that contact in Saint Vincent with his father, Mr. Cornelius Cato. Went to Saint Vincent. His father was talking to him about going back to Saint Vincent because that's where the Garinaga people originated from, and that was the initial contact when Belize started to make that contact with Saint Vincent and the Grenadines.
I see.
And then now here I come, so many years later, and along with Eleanor and the other passionate Garifuna men and women who started Yuga Cure, Habinaha, Garinago, and Yuga Cure in Saint Vincent, so that it can become a reality to how it is now. The only difference that I will have to mention is that the methodology that I use is a little different, because I use music as the vehicle to send
Yes.
the message.
Yes.
Children can learn the language. So, and I also want to say that the methodology that I have developed, I was able to work with more children because it was through the arts, the performing, the dancing, the singing, the playing of the drums. So I could have utilized more children and young adults in the program so that they can learn the songs.
James,
I can tell you.
Real
Go ahead.
quick, I want to ask you, how did you feel the first time you ever arrived in St. Vincent, knowing the history behind the exile and all of that? How was your reaction? What did you feel? What was going through your veins?
DJ Labuga, that's when you asked me that question, it came rushing back. The fact that growing up in Dangriga, I knew of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and where our ancestors came from. They were exiled from St. Vincent by the British in 1797,
Mm-hmm.
and just the fact that no, and they always used to say, this was what I heard in Dangriga, the fact that in St. Vincent, no Garinagu people in St. Vincent can speak the language anymore. Understand why?
Wow.
Because in those days, they were forced not to speak the language. As a matter of fact, the British had orders to kill anybody who was speaking Garifuna in those days.
Wow, that's
So
sad.
those who were exiled from Saint Vincent, the Garinagu who were exiled and who landed in Roatan, Honduras, and then from there they migrated to Belize, Guatemala, Nicaragua, and finally to these United States. They were the one who retained the culture. They were the one who retained the language, the food, the dance, and the spirituality, and everything.
Yes,
And
man.
those who remained in Saint Vincent, they lost it.
They
They
lost it
eventually
all.
lost it
Everything. Yes,
because
indeed.
those, because what happened, they were Garifuna. They were people who speak it, but over time, over time, those people who knew how to speak the language, they died out,
Wow.
and the offsprings, they lost the ability to speak the
The
language.
connection is
There are
gone.
remnants
Yeah.
there are remnants there, especially in Sandy Bay, and Fancy, and Greg's, and area where the Garinagu people are more prominent and stuff
Hmm.
like that. But that was over 218 years,
Yeah.
since I came, since I returned in 2011. And when I got there for the very first, I did felt, elated. I did felt like I was on, I was walking. I'm here walking on our ancestors' homeland. This is
Wow.
Yurume. You know, I did kneel down. I did kiss the ground. I did my rituals,
Oh,
and
wow.
I did felt like I was empowered, knowing that I was coming there for a purpose. I was coming there to impart what the little Garifuna I know, the history of my culture that I know, to my brothers and sisters right there in Urume. So
Wow.
it was I had a mission, and I knew deep down in my heart that that God was with me, and the ancestors, the spirit of my ancestors were with me, because I just felt like I was home, DJ
Uh-huh.
Labuga.
Yes,
I
man.
just felt I was home. I felt energized. I came in contact with the children. They came, the young adults. They came. I had the connection. And it was just 1, 2, 3, man. It was not very. It was not hard. I thought it was a little. It would have been very difficult, but I want to think that once you're a Garifuna, and this is from my experience in doing yoga cure in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, if you have that Garifuna DNA inside of you,
Uh-huh.
if you have that blood pumping inside of you, even if it's dormant, even if you don't know how to speak Garifuna, but if it's inside of you, it can be awakened.
Wow.
It can be awakened. You
And you
can
are
bring
so
it
right,
back.
man. You are so right, James, because I know a lot of people who have come from
Yeah,
Central America, from the Garifuna villages. A lot of them were aware of the language. They did not speak it because they never took the opportunity to learn, or because they moved away
exactly.
from their villages and they went to the city, whether it's Tegucigalpa or La Ceiba or Guatemala City or Belize City. But when they came here, they felt prompted by the other Garinago living in their communities in New York, in the Bronx, in Brooklyn, in Los Angeles, 48 and Hoover, the famous corner that we frequent every weekend here. Everybody speaks Garifuna, so you are prompted and you are pretty much drawn into the whole Garifuna duo, and you are compelled to relearn the language. In a way, it's like you're saying, you have it in you and your genes, so the connection is easy to make because you have it in you.
Yeah.
You just got to awaken it.
Exactly. When you see people, when you see people who are speaking the language, when you see the Garifuna dance, when you hear Garifuna music, when you see the music, on television, when you hear it over the radio, it instills a sense of pride. Understand? And that is what's gonna make other Garifuna who are somewhat, reluctant to learn the language, to look deep inside and to know, so that they can know who they are.
Yes.
And then start getting that pride back, because we are a very proud people.
Oh,
Garifuna
yes.
are very proud people.
Yes,
And
indeed.
and we are proud wherever we go. We're hard workers. We're very intelligent people. There's nothing in this world that there's no career that I know of that Garifuna has not attained in this life.
Yes, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, we have James Lovell live in the studio. Well, he's not in the studio in Long Beach, but he is live over the phone from New York. This is Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. We're live in Radio Centro America in Los Angeles, West Coast. We're also live on lmbroots.com radio in New York. A lot of people are listening online right now. And also, estamos en vivo allá en la comunidad de Santa Fe, Colón, Honduras, a través de Giriga 99.9 FM en Honduras. I want to acknowledge the people who are listening online. We have Dennis Rivas in Los Angeles. Evan Hill, DJ Evan is listening to us. Mariela Tovar in Los Angeles. Dr. Betsy Campisi listening in the East Coast in New Jersey, that is. Gago Monkey Arzu listening in Honduras, in Trujillo. James Lovell, of course, is with us answering the questions that we have posed to him. And also, not only answering the questions, but he's telling the story from his own point of view and what he's been doing in the community to be able to retrieve the language in places such as the motherland, Yurumin. We also want to acknowledge Edward E. Guiti, Michael J. Cordero in Los Angeles. Guiti is in New York. Roberto Antonio Ellington in New York. Hector Zapata, of course. Gloria Osiris in Houston, Texas. And many, many more people. That will take me probably another hour to mention everybody. But thank you. The outpour of people listening is incredible. So, James Lovell, we're a lucky man. I want you to acknowledge the people who speak Garifuna in Trujillo and say hello to all of our beautiful audience allá en Trujillo, en Honduras.
Yes, all benugunda lo anahala ya gwele luma Labuga, DJ Labuga, lugwa la wafaraga ni sunkate le wadigbe ya luge nichugu inete say hon sunha idara go bani na lida na dio lida wadagu manole na digbe so busat na lo itara meme wama lao lo wasala warihi lugwa la wasaru rasa Garifuna.
Italala, no matter. Man, I'm so happy to have you, James Lovell. It's been a while. It's been 2 weeks off the air.
Yes, I know.
And you
I know. We have not been talking. We have not been talking for a while, Ronnie. But that's okay. You're doing good work. You're promoting the Garifuna culture. You're promoting it as best as you can.
Yes.
I'm doing what I can. With some key people who are on my side, guiding me, talking to me, advising me, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it's good. It's good to know that there are people, working towards Garifuna cause. There are so many issues in our culture when it comes to human rights violation, when it comes to whatever, teenage pregnancy, unemployment, health care and stuff like that. And there are so many people who are doing whatever they can so that we can survive here in this world. And
man.
I want to give thanks to all those organizations, to all those individuals also who are doing the best they can to promote Garifuna.
Yes, it did. No, definitely. I also want to acknowledge Elite Carib International for doing a wonderful promotion and for putting you out there on the social media, right?
Definitely. That's my crew. Elite Carib International. People gonna be hearing about Elite Carib International from now on until it's gonna be one of.
Yes, man.
Yes.
So, James, since we are in this wonderful time between last week and this week, we are celebrating the 19th of November, the arrival of Garinago to Belize, and today, especially tonight, it is a big party going on in Guatemala. Tonight is the arrival of Garifuna people in Guatemala. So
that's right.
Yeah. So we want to play a song. I want you to pick one song out of your album of the music that you have recorded. I have Politico Hise Tibunu Casa Num Kabasa Numaria. So you tell me which one you want me to play, and I'll play it, man. And then we'll get back. We'll get back with the interview.
You can start with Hise Tibunu because Hise Nacional, Hise Nigiriano, and Hise Garifuna no. So you can start with Hise Tibunu, bro.
Lead that down. Okay, so we're going to take a little break, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. Today is Wednesday, November 26th. We are live and direct in the studio from Long Beach, California, via telephone lines with the recording artist, one of the top recording artists in the Garifuna diaspora, Mr. James Lovell. And we have one of his songs that he recorded back in the 90s. And this is an album that made a lot of waves and a lot of grooves into the community because it was played all over, even as far as Honduras, Nicaragua, Guatemala, and Belize. And here it is, James Lovell with Hisia Tibuno. Kemotia, Wabinaha, Wafeduha. Luma, DJ Labuga.
Luma sutigabaf. Liabia lung, lichigu, igundani, luma igame ririna wabagat. Igogu niduhe, hengmong, a fed duha.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. This is Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. We have on the line James Lovell, one of Belize's top recording artists and the man behind a lot of projects. And one of the projects that you're listening to is the Christmas music album that he participated in. It was a wonderful project. It was volume 1 and 2. So, Mr. James Lovell, welcome back, man. Thank you for hanging in there and being part of our show tonight, November 26, 2014, Garifuna Settlement Day in Guatemala.
Yes, no problem, DJ Labuga.
Yes, man. Wonderful music there, man. We're going to play a little bit of that Christmas music album that you recorded back in the mid-2005, I guess, 5 or 6, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. That's the one that I did with Spice.
Yes. It was great,
Yeah.
man. Congratulations. I love that album. Right around the holidays, I play it in my house, and we all enjoy it because, we got to have Garifuna Christmas music here. So we play a lot of the music from other performers. Not a lot of albums out there for Garifuna Christmas music, but the ones that we have, we do enjoy. James Lovell, I want to talk about the brand new project that you're working on, which is a Paranda album. Tell us about this Paranda album that is in the works.
Oh yes. What happened, DJ Labuga? I have a lot of songs in my archive, in my library, and it's just that I'm meticulous with my music and how I put it out. So I've had them, saved, so to speak, and I have numerous amount of songs when it comes to Paranda. Talking about, addressing issues in our community, the Garifuna communities, and also in life here on earth. There's so many tribulations. There's so many things, taking place in this world, man, in human or injustice to man and stuff like that. There are issues that needs to be addressed politically. There are issues that needs to be addressed when it comes to when I mentioned healthcare, when I mentioned unemployment, and stuff like that within the Garifuna community. So I put all that into songs, and it's just a matter of working on doing some arrangement so that we can work on that. And I'm fortunate to be working with Elite Carib International, and we are diligently working on coming with a Paranda that will address these issues, just and to keep up to the level that with music that are already out there.
Correct. Yes. So the Paranda project has been in the studio. You already have recorded how many tracks?
Yes, we worked on 2 already. I have a song, Children, Magurabaya Bisaniku, and that's that is basically talking about really taking care and guiding the children, because they are the future of tomorrow, and and that's all they need. That's all children need, to have someone there to tell them, to guide them in the right direction. Understand? And
Yes.
then I'm also working with recorded Walamisero. Walamisero is one of my songs that is addressing the issue of our Holocaust, the Garifuna Holocaust.
Oh, wow.
This is what happened in St. Vincent and the Grenadines under the British atrocities that took place in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is a historical fact that took place in our homeland, but it is not, recorded. It's not documented. It's not in the books. It's not being taught in the schools. And our children are being deprived of their culture and of their history. And and hence the reason why I believe, DJ Labuga, why most or some of our children, don't, follow through or stood up to defend Garifuna. It's mainly because they don't have the facts. They don't have the knowledge. And if you don't have that knowledge, that is your armament. That is your weapon. Right. If you're not knowledgeable about your culture, then there's no way you will stand up to defend it. And hence the reason why some people, because as much as they are Garifuna descent, because they lack the knowledge, they don't want to talk about it.
Right.
You ask them where Garifuna came from. You ask them who's Joseph Chatouillet. You ask them who's Alejo Beni. You ask them who's TV Ramos. They have no clue. Yes. And because they don't focus on it. And that's the reason why it's good whenever I hear or whenever I see organizations, individuals, anybody who are promoting Garifuna, who's, teaching the language. It could be through songs, it could be traditional way of teaching the language as my brother Milton Guiti is doing in the Bronx.
Yes.
On a daily, on a weekly basis. And I also want to compliment Ruben Reyes, there in LA, with what he's doing with the language, and
yes.
And GAHFU also, I also want to compliment, the Garifuna Coalition. They're doing quantum leaps, and when it comes to the political aspect of in that department, so
Very
to speak.
True.
Understand? Yes. Because we need everybody that are doing something, to promote Garifuna, when it comes to the culinary arts, I right away I look at Garifuna, the kitchen,
Garifuna
flavor in Chicago.
Yes.
Okay, and when I think about healthcare, when it comes to Garifuna, I think about what Luther Castillo is doing with the Revolutionary Hospital there in Saraboya in Honduras. And this is what I'm talking about. These little fires that you see promoting Garifuna, pushing Garifuna, it's just a matter of galvanizing all of them, putting them together so that the flame can be even brighter.
And you know what's amazing, James, is that every organization serves its own purpose, because every organization, whether it's nationally recognized, officially recognized through the city or the state, or is just an association, it doesn't matter, because they serve the same purpose. That every organization has its own forte, its own specialty, and I think that comes to enrich even more the Garifuna experience, because we all focus on doing what we do best. For example, here in Los Angeles, we had the 19th of November celebrated with a big celebration, because Father Lawrence Nicasio came all the way from Belize. Not only he came to be able to say the Mass in Garifuna, but also he came because he was celebrating 25 years of service in the Catholic Church. But had it not been for the Garifuna choir organized, and people who are behind it are Mr. Pen Cayetano, Frank Palacio, and many, many more, had it not been for them, that they were doing fundraisers, trips to the casino to fundraise and put money together, they were able to pay for all the expenses incurred in the flight, the hotel, the meals, and bring in the priest around Los Angeles to every event that took place during the 19th of November. Now, Miss Marta Martinez, and of course that is the Los Angeles Garifuna Cultural Group Association. They do their other thing, which is the cultural celebration, the sale of food and drinks and the drumming and everything that happens in Aunt Marta's backyard. That's what they do best, so they did that. And then GAHFU did the Garifuna Heritage Month, where we were able to recognize the movers and shakers in the community and recognize him with a city citation, City of Los Angeles citation, for the work that they do in the community. Not only did we do that, but Jerry Castro also petitioned to the City of Los Angeles for the month of November 12th through through December 12th to be designated a National Garifuna Heritage Month. So
Awesome.
it's just an amazing amount of work that has been going on in the community. We are all separated, but we're contributing towards the cause. And exactly what you
That
were
is
saying.
awesome. That is awesome. You see, what happened is that it's like it works like the body. Ronnie. It works like the body. The hand has its purpose. The leg has its purpose. The head has its purpose. Every part of the body has its purpose, and that's the same way with each individual and organization. It's just a matter of bringing it together so that the Garifuna culture can be visible. Now it is known in LA, whence Garifuna came from and their contribution to the infrastructure of LA proper. The same thing here in New York. I believe we also have that same mentality where each individual and organizations, doing what they can so that they can promote the culture, and then it's just a matter of everybody coming together so that it can make an impact. It has to work. There's no excuses. There's no more reasons to give why Garifuna should not be heard, why Garifuna should not be known. This is 2014. And we just got to keep up with how everything is flowing.
Yes.
We
got people calling on the line, but we're not taking any calls right now because we have James Lovell on the line, but we just got a call from a Garifuna listener here in Los Angeles. I'm going to ask you to please hold on until the end of the interview so you could call in and pose your question to James Lovell. Go ahead, James.
Yes, I just want to mention that, with the music, when it comes to the paranda music, it's not only paranda, but I'm focusing on paranda because that's a project that I'm working on with my crew, Elite Carib International. The fact that it's like a outlet, it's a means of hearing Garifuna, what Garifuna has to say. And when I say Garifuna, I'm talking about everybody, because once you as a musician, as an artist, singing or composing songs and putting it out there for the public domain, you want that to be a Garifuna voice, So I just believe that, as much as they have, you cannot control or tell an artist what to sing about or what song to bring out and stuff like that. I just believe that, you as an individual, you need to recognize that when you're singing and putting music out there to the public domain, you're representing, yes, yourself, but you're also representing your culture.
The culture,
you're representing
exactly.
You're representing your people.
Yes.
So be conscious of what you put out there, because there are some songs that can be very explicit. They can be promoting violence, and they can be low-rating women. They can be promoting sex and stuff like that. And it's. I just feel like, me personally as an artist, whenever I compose music, whenever I write, the main thing that drives me to do the right thing at all times are children.
Yes.
Believe it or not, Ron, I put children in. I whenever I write, I try to write in a way where children can sing my music. Because if I'm going to write and there's derogatory terms in my songs, I wouldn't want children to sing that.
Yeah.
I want my
I think
music to be played anywhere. It
I
could be
think
in the
you
clubs, it could be in church, it could be in schools, it
yeah.
could be in the house. It doesn't matter if the lyrics are clean, if you're driving a message, if you have advice, if you want to tell a story, if you want to talk about issues, the paranda music, the punta music, the hugu music, all these are outlets. All these are ways of, venting. All these are ways of expressing yourselves, so that the world can know about Garifuna.
Good
And
point, Prince.
Paranda
Good
is
point.
coming.
Let me say something real quick, but I think that it is important the fact that today's Garifuna music has been corrupted by certain artists that are trying to gain popularity, and they seek popularity by any means necessary, and even by risking the quality of the music and the lyrics, that they are degrading the music to the point that when you listen to the lyrics, they're nasty lyrics, even in English, because a lot of the chanting that they do is either give it to me or whatever it is that they're saying, which we know, we're very familiar if we listen to Garifuna music, that certain lyrics do not belong there. I think that if we are going to educate people through music, because an artist is like a teacher, he should be able to deliver the information as accurate as possible and tell a story, but tell a story in a clean way, in a way that even children are able to listen to it and not be put in a situation where they feel comfortable in front of their parents listening to lyrics like "give it to me," "get on top of me," or sitting on the drum, and just degrading the culture. You know what I mean? So I want to give it up to you, brother. Because you really have touched upon a very, very critical point of Garifuna music in this day and age.
What I think, Ronnie, I think what needs to be done, like I said, you don't want to restrict an artist. You don't want to tell an artist, you can't do this or you can't do that. And hence the reason why artists can do, musicians especially, and the art, even those who draw, they can draw whatever. And the
Yes.
singer, he can sing whatever, she can sing whatever. But the thing is, the diversity, and what is beautiful about that is there are different characters when they're performing or when they're singing or when they're creating. Different artists, have different views. Different artists' mentality is different from others. So there are some who don't care. There are some who don't know. Some are operating because they're ignorant. Understand? They don't know about the history. They don't know about the culture. So they display or they bring out the limited version of what they know. And then there are some who studied. There are some who go out into the Garifuna community, ask questions, and take notes and learn, because you got to. Because one thing you need to understand, Ronnie, all Garifuna artists, most Garifuna artists, as I don't want to say all, but most Garifuna artists, they didn't go to a formal school to learn about Garifuna culture, to learn about their history, to learn about reading and writing music. We don't do that, because they don't have that facility in Honduras or Belize or Guatemala. But what happened is that you're looking at a number of Garifuna men and women who have the courage, who have I want to say a huge courage to get up on stage, with the limited knowledge that they know of their culture, one, of the language, two, of the history, and stuff like that, and get up there with just their natural talent of singing, playing an instrument, be it drums, guitar, bass, and showcasing their musicianship. Okay,
Yes.
so when you look at these artists and look at their bravery, look at what they have accomplished and what they have done on their own with just looking and from looking at other artists and stuff like that. Now, my thing is, if there are Garifuna organizations who are organizing, to move this culture, to move Garifuna to another level, then we should identify these artists who are accomplished, one, who are becoming international stars, two, who are novice to this music, and we need to. They need to be separated, or they need to be identified, and then approached to be corrected in a positive way, in a nice way. You don't want to be disrespectful to nobody, to the artist or to the organization and stuff like that. But I believe if we can approach any artist, any organization for the progress of Garifuna, if they can approach any artist who they see have potential to become international, to be an advocate for Garifuna, then we need to guide that person, be it him or her. They need to be guided. And beautiful. If that person is open to be advised to do the right thing, I feel like the door is open for anybody to become as great as they want to be, as they can be. Because the story, our Garifuna story, will not come from a foreigner, Ronnie. Our Garifuna story will not be, televised. It will not be publicized by a foreigner. Right. It will come from a genuine Garifuna man and a genuine Garifuna woman, or a genuine Garifuna band, or a genuine Garifuna organization.
Right.
Understand?
Yes.
There's no way for any organization that is non-Garifuna, or for any individual to be a non-Garifuna, to be the sole person to run this music business, or to run this Garifuna, or Garifuna, to run or to promote Garifuna, so to speak, in this world.
No, definitely.
It has to come, I believe, and I know that it has to come from Garifuna. Our story will have to come from us, because we, Wagegarinagu, we have the story. It's just like the Spanish people. They have their story. That's their culture. And the Hindu, the Indian, all other cultures, they have their story. So is Garifuna. We have our story, and we can expose and we can channel our story through songs. We can channel it through pictures, drawing. We can channel it through books. We can channel our music, and we can channel our culture in whatever means that we can do.
Yes. No, definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. We're live with James Lovell, straight from New York. I am in the studios in Long Beach, California, and we are live through www.radiocentroamerica.com in the West Coast and worldwide, of course. And in New York, we are live on lmbroots.com radio. And, of course, estamos en vivo allá en Honduras a través de Radio Guiriga 99.9 FM en Santa Fe, Colón, Honduras. I want to send a big shout out to all of our faithful listeners who are back again after a 2-week vacation. We're back in the studio now with this wonderful radio show that comes on every Wednesday from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 9 p.m. and in New York from 10 p.m. to midnight. And we have, of course, James Lovell, who's talking about the brand new album that will be released shortly, and it's a Paranda compilation of the music he has been cherishing and the music that he's been saving for years, and of course putting it in the studio and soon to be released. So James, we are going to take a little break. We're going to play a song, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the next project that you are working on, which is the children's album, which is a compilation of music that is modern here in the United States, but you have taken the time, along with Mr. Palacio and his late wife, Miss Rita Palacio, to put into songs sung in Garifuna for the children to learn. So we'll get into more detail with that. So I want to play, because we are approaching Christmas, I want to play from the Christmas album, Lao Wagaron. So it is the drummer boy, and of course I want you to introduce that song, and we're going to take a break. I want to send a big shout out to Byron Cayo, listening in New York. He says, great interview, man. Thank you, man, and thank you for being our faithful listener out there in New York. So James Lovell, please introduce the following Christmas song. If you have anything else to add, go ahead.
Ustereme ho ha agambu bani wadima ha gwento ani remule lau wagaraon anite.
Hey, Kemotia, ladies and gentlemen, this is Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga.
Chuluha luwayurite, Jesu Christu, lira usuti gabaf. Liabia lung, lichigum, igundani, luma igame ririna wabagas. Ikogu niduhe, hengwang, afeduha.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. This is Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. We are so fortunate to have a very smart guy, a very well put together, man. I don't even have the words to describe you, James Lovell, man. You're just a person who attracts a lot of attention, a person who is loyal to what you do. You are devoted to the work that you're doing in St. Vincent. I have a lot of respect for you. We always get a chance to see one another at different events, and one of the events we always get to see each other is during the Garifuna Film Festival, which you are a staple, you're a part of, thanks to Frida Sideroff here in Los Angeles, who is the brains behind the Garifuna Film Festival here. So thank you, man, for taking our call, and we have been getting a lot of greetings from people all over the United States. Byron Cayo said, great interview. Thank you for doing what you're doing, James Lovell. Also, Silvia Maribel de Leon is listening. Also, Dale Ogaldes in Chicago, one of our faithful listeners, is also tuning in to Garifuna Music on Talk tonight. So let's talk about the next project, man. Thanks to the work that you have been doing with Mr. Palacio, Mr. Clifford Palacio, who is, of course, in his 80s right now, and his late wife, who just passed away a couple of months ago, Ms. Rita Palacio. You are working on this wonderful project for children. Tell us about it.
Yes. Okay. This took place couple years ago. You know, I want to think it's probably going to 8 years now. And what I usually do, with my talent, DJ Labuga, is whenever there's a death in the Garifuna community, you know, I would feel compelled to go and render my service to the bereaving family, so that to give them a sense of encouragement and endurance in their time of bereavement. So I usually go and I would dedicate a song, to the people and to the community. And I happened to one day was in a situation like that in a church performing, and after the performance, Mr. Palacio approached me and he said, James, I've heard you perform twice, and I really enjoyed your performances, and I like how you go about doing what you do. So on that note, I have a project that I am working on, me and my wife, Miss Rita Palacio, and I would want you to actually take it on and to make it become a reality.
Man,
and
that's a great honor, man. That's a great honor to be asked by somebody like Mr. Clifford Palacio and his wife.
Yes, I that's what I realized after, Ronnie, when I really get to know who Mr. Palacio was and the work that he has done in the Garifuna community there in LA to promote Garifuna and all that good stuff. I felt so elated. I was, somewhat flabbergasted when he approached me and actually want me to carry it on, because there were other Garifuna artists who he could have easily selected and to do the project, and so I waited until he sent me the stuff, and when lo and behold, they were songs that the Garifuna Nurseram songs that he translated from English into Garifuna.
Such as what? Give us an example.
Such as okay, there's so many. He had
the most popular ones.
He had row your boat. He had
Mary Had a Little Lamb. He had
Wow.
Twinkle Twinkle Little Stars. He had Are You Sleeping?
Oh.
And I I listen to to these songs, and in less than 2-3 weeks I was able to memorize and to learn, internalize the songs. And I'm there, playing them on my guitar here in New York, and 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 then ideas start coming to me, and I said, okay, I can sing these songs because they're easy and it's not difficult for me. But I feel like what I can do is teach these songs to the children. So
Yes.
I said, yes, I can do that. So I had my two younger daughters, and the kids, the children of other friends and relatives, put them together right there in Biko Center in Bushwick in Brooklyn, and me and my cousin Alex Colon, we
Okay.
start, huh?
No, I'm saying, wow, this is amazing, man.
Yeah. So that's how it started, and I'm giving you the in-depth story so that it could be recorded and people can realize.
Okay, guess what,
So
James?
we
Hold on. Two things. One thing. Jolani Alvarez, a beautiful girl in New York, is listening, and she says that she would love to buy your Christmas album. So I gave her the information regarding Spice SKM Records. She could look him up online on Facebook. But she says she is one of the greatest fans of you, and she loves your music and your talent. So she is looking forward to getting your album. So that's Yolani Alvarez in New
thanks,
York.
thanks,
Okay. She
Yolani.
says,
I,
great
I
show.
appreciate you too. I appreciate
And guess
most
what? You also
definitely.
have a listener in Memphis, Tennessee, the capital of country music, man. There's Garifuna
Yeah,
people out there.
Tennessee.
Can you believe that?
Say that again. Say that
Yeah,
again,
you
DJ.
have a couple of listeners in Memphis, Tennessee, listening, which is the
Okay.
capital of country music, and that is
Country music.
yes,
Yeah.
country music out there, man.
Country music. Yeah.
Yes. And so
Yeah.
you are very fortunate that a lot of people love your music and love the work that you're doing in the community. James, I'm going to put you on the spotlight, man. I want you to please sing a cappella a few of the tunes that you just mentioned. Maybe one of the tunes. Pick one and please sing it to us in Garifuna so we could just get that vibe on what we're looking forward to when this album gets released. Come, Tia.
Okay. Okay. Well. Keep in mind that as much as this work that I'm working on, that includes Mr. Palacios and Mrs. Palacios' work, it's geared towards children. But at the same time, there are also adults who don't know how to speak the language, and I feel like they can also benefit from this project.
Right.
And I'll give you an example because there's this song that I put together where an adult and like a mother and a father, a parent, parents can sit in the comfort of their living room to learn together. I think it's a wonderful idea, and this is how it goes. I sing it in English, and it goes, "Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, Brother John? Brother John? Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing, ding, ding, dong." Right?
Yes,
That's the
man.
English, English that is in the public domain nursery rhymes. And then here comes Mr. Palacios' work. Barumuguya sayong, barumuguya sayong, natiwa, natiwa, bo haliweyu, inyuraguaba.
Inyuraguaba.
Wow,
Okay?
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
job, man.
You do that.
Yes.
You do that, with that you can work with your children, that the parents, even if they don't know the language, if they but they can work with their children after the kids finish their homework. When the children finish doing their homework and they're getting ready to go to sleep, they can get together in the living room, or it could be right in the children's bed. The parents can sit in with their children to hug them and kiss them good night, and then they can sing at least a song together, learn a song together, and go to sleep. Here's another song,
Okay.
but this one is an original. This is an original because it goes along with the work, that for the children to learn the language at the same time through learning it through music.
Okay.
And it goes like this. Good morning, good morning. How are you this morning? I'm fine, I'm okay. How are you? Simple, short but sweet. And that's the beauty of nursery rhymes and lullabies. You want them short and sweet so that they can be memorized easily.
Wow. Uh-huh.
And here it goes in Garifuna. Buiti binafi, ida biya binafile, magadietina uadigati, ida biya again. Okay?
That's beautiful.
Now,
Nice.
now
Wow.
with that, Ronnie, with that, what you can do again, you can do that for like a good 2-3 weeks, for like 15 minutes a time, to teach that song or to learn that song with your son or with your daughter, with your children.
Yes, definitely.
And in that way, you are teaching your son or your children, you're teaching them how to speak Garifuna by
Yes.
teaching them how to sing first, because now you can say they can master the words by saying Buiti Binafi, and Buiti Binafi translates good morning.
Yes.
So
man.
in the morning when the child gets up, your son or your daughter can politely get up, just like when they say get up in the morning and say good morning, mother. They can now say Buiti Binafi Nuguchu.
Wow, that's
And you can
beautiful.
just show them that one word. And then the mother can ask her son or daughter or the father, Ida Biangi, because it's right there, Ida Bia Binafile. Ida Bia Binafile, it's in the song. And then the son or the child can answer, Magadi Yatina Uwadigati. And then he or she would ask, Ida Bia Gie.
Wow.
And once they memorize the song, DJ Labuga, it's going to be a piece of cake. And as a matter of fact, whenever I'm teaching the children, also, I always make sure that I write the Garifuna words on a board so that they can see it, because children learn in many ways. They use their senses.
Yes.
And the more you can teach them, the more senses you use to teach the children, the better. And the writing on the board, it makes they use their visual,
Yes.
their sense, their visual, and
Yes,
then
man.
when they hear it, they're using their audio. Understand? So some kids they learn by listening, others they learn by seeing.
Yes, man.
And
This one brings me
that's
back
what.
to the TV shows that the kids watch in the mornings on PBS, like Sesame Street,
You
and
see,
the other one with the big
exactly,
dinosaur. With the dinosaur, what is it called?
exactly, Barney.
Yes.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have that song. Let me oblige to my audience who are listening. Ani hayaba iremu butet na lun afarga de ni hon lu hagambuni lugu ala hafrendero irahin ida lu bala hadimer halida Garifuna. Pero mon haremu hani iremu sag hamuga gunyo lu barage hodi lu harumugu Lugwa la mabule duhamani iterelialidi. And this is the one that goes it goes I love you, you love me. We're a big happy family with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say you love me too?
Wow.
You know, that's the traditional song that goes out there with Barney.
Yeah.
But I brought it home. I brought it home because children know the song. But then when you bring it home and sing it in Garifuna, it makes them more susceptible to learn their culture through the song. And it goes like this. He sienti bunu, he sienti nabu, sung wagia idu henyu, o burabana, o buranabugi, itarawa malau isieni. Okay?
Wow.
And then I also have another version, and this is teaching them how to count.
Okay.
You know, as much as it's, you can teach them how to count the traditional way, but you can also teach them how to count in a singing style, like how I do it, and it goes like this. Aba piama uruwa gaduru sengu sisi said weed nefudisi gabahudaditi walida garifuna. Okay?
I like that. Beautiful, man. Congratulations. Good work, man.
Yeah, it's ideas like these, and and it's Mr. Palacio and Mrs. Palacio. It's their work, and I just embellish what they're doing, because I think Mr. Palacio had a strong sense of who he wanted to do it, because apparently I feel like he got the right person, Ronnie, because it was very fun for me, and so easy for me to take these songs and fix them and bring them and turn them into Garifuna, translate them into Garifuna, and work with the children to have them learn it. There are a couple of his work that I've done here in New York, that I've done several performances after I taught the children how to sing the songs. I would, other people would take videos of them and put it on Facebook and put it on the internet and stuff like that. So you would find some of the work on the YouTube. If you Google, if you put in James Lovell Garifuna Nursery Rhymes.
Oh, okay.
Some of them will come up. Yes, some of them will come up. I have songs with with the songs that Mr. Palacio gave me to work on. I have songs with some of the songs that I translated. There's one there that is part of the work that I'm also doing, and it's a video way of teaching how to learn the nursery rhymes. I break it down where I'm playing the guitar and I sing. So as very slowly I sing, so that the children can hear me, and then I play the guitar without singing, but I'm moving my lips, so the children can sing what they heard me sang earlier.
Right.
Understand? So it's, if you look at the video, you will understand more what I'm talking about, because I sing and then I play the guitar, moving my lips, and then the child's supposed to be singing after I sing. And it goes like this. Aniha, anihaya, aniha, anihaya, aniha anda sibuseti la tuduna, abala huyuhuya dari lula chibuni, Rey de Hahuya Abala Bacharagun Anihaya Anasi Busieti Latuduna. And that is an
Wow.
Itsy Bitsy Spider in
There you
Garifuna.
go. I knew this
Yeah.
song. Hey, James, I really want to second the opinion that Mr. Palacio had over you. The fact that he chose the right person to do the work. I think you have a special connection to children. Not only have you had the opportunity to work with children in Belize, in Dangriga with this project
Oh,
in
yeah.
Belmopan, but also the work that you have been doing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Yurume in your own homeland. I think
Yes.
that connection
Yes.
is very
Yes.
strong to children. And not only that, I think you have a background in teaching. And
Yes.
tell us about that.
Yes. Yes. That's what I do. I've been working with kids for quite some time now. I remember starting, at BICO, Transformation Center, working with my two younger daughters, Jamie and Jazzy, and I start, putting the words out where other children in the community and DJ Labuga, I want to tell you that I've worked with children who are not Garifuna, but because they were in the environment where to learn the songs in Garifuna,
Uh-huh.
they were able to sing them.
Wow,
I have
congratulations. So
kids.
when you
I have
mentioned Stephen
children.
Biko is
I
the
have
center
children.
in Brooklyn, right?
Yes, I have children who are from coming from the other parts of the Caribbean, from Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad. I have African American children. I
I
have
see.
Spanish children coming
Wow.
to learn, and they were able to sing these songs, fluently,
Wow.
effortlessly over a period of time.
Wow.
So I want to even take it further to say, as much as we have, children here in these United States of Garifuna descent, but I want to say, and this is, I'm serious about this, DJ Labuga.
Uh-huh.
I'm serious about this. I want to say that there are times when parents, adults, would say, "Oh, the children don't want to speak Garifuna no more." I find that to be false. That's not true. There are times when children, because the parents have to go to work, there's hardly any time for the parents to be with the children. Most of the time the children are home, sometimes with other relatives,
Uh-huh.
and the majority of the time, I want to say that some of the children are not being supervised properly,
Right.
and ending up, looking at things on the computer, listening to other music when it comes to rap music that are vulgar, explicit, looking at stuff that they're not supposed to be exposed to at an early age,
Yes.
and these are the issues that some of our Garifuna children are going through today, and people are not addressing these issues. You
Yes.
know what I
Good
mean,
point. Good
DJ
point.
Lapuga? And
Yes.
where now the beauty of what GAHFU, what Garifuna Coalition, what Ilagale, what every Garifuna organization here in these states and in Belize, Honduras, Guatemala, what we're doing, what these organizations are doing, is creating a safe haven where children can come and learn about their culture, learn about to speak their language, learn to dance their dance, because like we spoke earlier, the dance that you see on the television, the dance that you see on YouTube, is some of them are so vulgar. Some of
Yes.
them, you don't want to see your children dancing like that, DJ Labuga.
Right.
You
Right.
don't want to see your niece or your nephew dancing like that. And you know something? What is so sad about that is the fact that uh, some of these young adults, they don't know better.
Exactly.
That's what they know, that's what they see, and that's what they imitate. And because nobody or no other formal way of dancing punta, no other formal way of dancing paranda, and is out there. These children or these young adults, they have no choice. There's only one thing that they're seeing, and it's something that is not representing Garifuna in a proper way.
Exactly.
So what we need to do, and I want to put this out there for any Garifuna organization or any individual, counter these low rating videos by putting concrete and putting videos up there that is depicting the culture in its true sense, so that people can see the wrong thing done in the Garifuna community and the right thing.
Yes.
But if there's only the wrong thing on YouTube and the wrong thing on the internet, then everybody else will think and assume, even non-Garinagu will assume that is the real deal, and that is not correct.
Yes.
So it's just something for food for thought for people out there who are listening, so that we can do something to promote the culture in a proper sense.
No, definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Garifuna Music on Talk with DJ Labuga. It's been 1 hour and 35 minutes with this wonderful man, this teacher, this man that is inspired by the works of Mr. Clifford and Mrs. Rita Palacio, who has been able to sample the songs from, of course, nursery rhymes and put them into Garifuna words in English, so that children are able to learn the language of their birth, the language of the motherland, the language of the Garifuna. Many of the Garifuna American children are unable to learn the language for many reasons. And as parents, we need to encourage that Garifuna be spoken at home if you are fluent. If you're not fluent, there is books available that you could buy online or in different locations, like in Los Angeles through Ben Flores or Buck Pastor, or in New York there is places where you could go and buy literature, or even in Amazon you could get books in Garifuna to teach your children about the language. There is a place where you need to start, and I think the start of all of these should be at home. You need to encourage children to be proud of their heritage, to learn the language, and to stand tall for what they represent. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. James Lovell, straight from New York, and we're going to ask James Lovell to please, James, can I take this call real quick? There is a call coming in from New York. Is that okay? Hello? Okay, I guess it's James, are you there? Let's see. I think something happened here. But we're gonna play one song. James, if you're not there, we're gonna go and play one song. I'll call you right back. Let's see. James, are you there? Let's see. I guess not. We must have lost James Lovell. James, are you there? No, okay. All right, we're going to play one song and we're going to come back with James Lovell. This is Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. We're live and direct from the studios in Long Beach, California.
Anu habaru rolu mabuyi
naranima, gai hanurage ye. Kabasa naranima, gai hanurage ye. Anu hasoro silu ma contribo, ani hasina lula shibonibo. Anu hasoro silu ma contribo, ani hasina lula shibonibo. Kabasa naranima, gai hanurage ye. Kabasa naranima, gai hanurage ye. Anu hasoro silu ma contribo, ani hasina lula shibonibo. Anu hasoro silu ma contribo, ani hasina lula shibonibo. Kabasa suserema, dame na weyeno. Kabasa suserema, dame na weyeno. Bibi babarana ha, ocha Hawaii. Bibi baharabu, aya ha ereba. Bibi babarana ha, ocha Hawaii. Bibi baharabu, aya ha ereba. Kabasa numarima, dame na maredo. Kabasa numarima, dame na maredo. O abasando, baba moha. Abanyaro, to puititosa. O abasando, baba moha. Abanyaro, to puititosa. 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 Abasando, baba moha. Abanyaro, to puititosa.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Nice song, James Lovell. Yes, we're back. This is Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. We are live in the studio from Long Beach, California. We have on the line, straight from New York, the man behind Yagure, behind the Garifuna Retrieval Project in St. Vincent, with the help of the people he already mentioned. Mr. James Lovell. There's a lot of stuff going on in the community right now, James. Last week it was the 19th of November. Today is the 26th of November, arrival of Garinagu to Guatemala. Last week it was arrival to Belize. And guess what? We have one of the greatest representations of Garifuna in London. Tell us about that. We're talking about Kayla Bermudez.
That's right. That's right. I want to congratulate any organization and Labuga especially, where Kayla Bermudez is from. I really, it was a very good feeling to look at all the young ladies representing the different countries where they're from, and lo and behold, there was our own Kayla Bermudez, representing Garifuna. And she did it with styles, DJ Labuga,
yes,
because she had on our colors, yellow, black, and white, and she was up there looking as regal as possible. And I would want to congratulate her, for the work that she's doing to represent the Garifuna culture in London and in the world.
No, definitely.
Okay.
She is a beautiful candidate. Not only is she beautiful physically, but she's very smart. She is very well-rounded in Garifuna Duo. I like the questions that she was asked and how she was able to put Garifuna in perspective. Not only did she mention about the food, but also she mentioned about the fact that she has a lot of respect for Dr. Joseph Palacio, who is one of the Garifuna writers and a person who recently visited Livingston, and she had the opportunity to meet there in Guatemala. So big up to Kayla Bermudez. And if you are on Facebook, please look it up. I'm going to post the link online on my Facebook page, Ronnie Figueroa at Facebook. And I want you to vote. The vote is free and available online. You could vote from your Facebook page and, of course, give the vote to Miss Kayla Bermudez tonight as we speak with James Lovell. Yes, James.
Yes. Oftentimes, Ronnie, we tend to want to not give the younger generation, especially the teenagers, the props and respect that they deserve to contribute to our Garifuna advancement. Okay, and what Kayla Bermudez is doing is a typical example. But there are many other Garifuna youth who are doing just as great work. And I want, if they are not known, if nothing has been written about them, if they're not on television, if they're not in the papers, I want to, I want to recognize all the young boys and young Garifuna girls and Garifuna boys out there who are also our queen and our kings, because we got to give them that respect. We got to encourage them because they are our future. You never know who the next prime minister in the respective countries where Garinago are. It can be a Garifuna. It can be a Garifuna, and
Yes.
it will be, and then you got to look at the young boys and the young girls who are coming up, who are listening to their parents, who are, doing good in school, who know, that they supposed to excel in whatever they do, because, the bottom line is, it's not easy for our young boys and girls today in this country and in this world. Okay, there are so many black boys being killed, being shot at. You can name them. Trayvon, there's what happened in Ferguson recently.
Yes.
In Brooklyn, in East New York, a young teenager was killed in the stairway, because the stairway was dark and the cops didn't recognize that it was a young, innocent person with no weapons. So a lot is going on, and mainly because, of being, I don't want to say, in a way that because they're black, but I want to think that our black boys especially are being targeted, and we need to understand, especially the young boys,
Yes.
DJ Labuga, I really need to say this. They need to learn to be respectful. They need to learn to know how to speak to people with respect, so that whatever they dish out is going to be returned to them. You cannot be disrespectful, especially if you're stopped by a cop. I used to be a cop myself in Belize. So as much as there are cops out there who's supposed to be protecting the people and the populace out there, there are also wicked cops. That's
Yes.
the truth. There's no hiding. This is real talk. There's no hiding behind that. But that doesn't mean that if a cop comes up to you, that you're going to start disrespecting that cop simply because he's wearing that uniform. Understand? I just want the young boys and the young ladies, especially Garifuna boys and Garifuna girls here in this country, to listen, one, and do the right thing, because the final analysis, that cop, he is a human being who is also scared, and because he or she has a gun, they can use it, and
Yes.
you don't have a gun.
Yes, that's true. Good point. Thank you for that, man. We really need to take care of our own. Our children are exposed out there, and if you are sagging and if you're acting in a particular manner, you will be targeted. There is certain things you gotta avoid because that's just the way it is. America has not changed 100%. I know there is a lot of work to be done, and also want to acknowledge Mr. Jerry Castro, who is sending us information in regards to the work he's doing in regards to what's going on right now in Ferguson. you know. So he just reported that a 12-year-old boy shot in Cleveland, where he is heading there. He's heading there to protest, to help organize the community. That's the work that Jerry, one of our own Garifuna politicians, is doing. Behind the doors. Yeah.
What happened? What I want to insert too, DJ Labuga, is that it happened here to. I can't remember or recall exactly, but I just want to put it out there that it also happened here to a young Garifuna boy, a young teenager.
Yes,
Garifuna,
it happened to Fermin Arsu, and it happened to another kid. I remember.
It happened, and I want that whenever anything, and I'm pleading to any organizations again. Whenever anything happened to Garifuna here in this country, I would want that we we come together. I would want that if we have to go up and do a protest, a peaceful protest, so that we can be heard as a people, we need to organize to do such things, because it doesn't look good when a Garifuna person, get into an incident with the cops or with anybody, and then there's no representative, and there's nobody to represent, there's nobody to make it visible.
Yes.
Every other cultures are doing it, we can do it too. We need to organize to do that.
Yes.
On that note, I want to tell everyone listening, especially those who are here in New York, and on the radio right now, you can always, call relatives here in New York to let them know that I will be performing at Silvana in Harlem this Saturday.
All right.
November 29th.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's going to be this weekend, right? Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be this weekend, Saturday, the 29th, at 10 o'clock until 12 o'clock. But then there's still going to be music after.
And it's Silvana.
It's going to be a promising preview of the Paranda music that we will be recording, and I want to encourage everyone to tell everyone so that they can come and enjoy, celebrating, our November 19th celebration in Belize, and our November 26th celebration in Guatemala.
Yes, Wafeduha.
Okay? That's right. And as much as there are so many issues and human rights violations taking place in our community, I feel like as much as we're performing and singing, we can also highlight those and expose those atrocities taking place within our community.
Yes,
a lot of stuff is taking place, Ronnie, and people need to know about it, and it's not always, getting up on stage and making it look like it's all fine and dandy. You can also let the audience know what is taking place, what really is taking place in Honduras.
Yes.
And people need to be aware of that, so that we can do whatever we can when it comes to bringing awareness what is taking place in Honduras, in Guatemala, in Belize, in St. Vincent, here in these United States, for anything about Garifuna.
Yes, James Lovell, thank you so much, man, for the time that you have spent with us. Almost 2 hours of wonderful information. Man. You are an inspiration to every Garifuna person. You are an inspiration to me personally for the work that you're doing. I want to congratulate you and your crew for the trips that you have been making to Yurumen, to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, back to back for the past 4 years. Next year will be the 5th. I want to congratulate you on the work with Mr. and Mrs. Palacio here in Los Angeles with the nursery rhymes. I also want to congratulate you for the work that you have been doing in Los Angeles with the Garifuna Film Festival International, of course, along with Frida Sidorov, who is the manager and the creator of this wonderful event in the month of May, which is coming up again in 2015. And the much needed work that you have been doing in recording the wonderful music of Parranda. I am looking forward to getting or buying a copy of your brand new album, Parranda collection of music that you are working in the studio.
You got it wrong, Ronnie. There's no way ECI and there's no way ECI gonna sell you a James Lovell CD, Parranda CD. International Club Elite don't operate like that. They, people like you and what you're doing, bringing to front and exposing the Garifuna triumph and Garifuna experiences. Be it good, be it triumphant, be it not so good. It could be like our sad experiences. You put it out there in its entirety. It's a wonderful thing that you're doing, and we want to thank you for that too. And you will be hearing more and more of ECI. We need to keep that out there. We need to keep that Elite Carib International.
Yes,
it's a genuine 100% Garifuna music industry, music business, managing business. And anything you need to know about, that for support when it comes to the technicalities behind the Garifuna music, you can definitely look out for ECI, who's going to be taking.
Definitely. I also wanted to mention Pablo Garifuna, Pablo Blanco, who is behind ECI, and of course Hector Zapata, who are the partners in this business. And so I want to acknowledge them for making this interview happen. And James Lovell, all of our love goes to you, man, and the microphone is open for you to close it out.
Haone song garinago. Ahe hagamba hayadu wala ugunye sereme niya home. Binilo asunti gabaf la diga itara lubalu wanwasaro lida aba. Isi etu no itara meme wamalau isiani sereme niya home. Ayo.
Itarala. Thank you so much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave you with some of the music from the Christmas album. Since it's the season, I want to make sure that you do listen to these wonderful recordings. Thank you, James. We love you, man, and we'll see you soon.
Merry Christmas to all and also. Yep! Well, I'm back! Merry Christmas to all and all a good night. Yep! Yes! Finito! Sanu marima, dame na mareido. Kaba sanu marima, dame na mareido. O abasando, baba moha. Abahiaro, to buikitosa. Abasando, baba moha. Abahiaro, to buikitosa. Chulu haluwa yurite, Jesu Cristo, vira usuti gaba. Liabia lu, lichigu, igundami, luma ikeme ririna wabaga. Igongu ni duhe, hengwa afetuha. Ini wala guyongle, malubu idularuni hati. Luwe yurite, Jesu Cristo wabureme. Sungiriya ubowago, igo gulau hafi, gong chulu hawon, lola chibuni wawe, igundami, lumadarangila, ligia la buswerube. Wagu chibun
Uwalia sufuriru ni sungu bewangia aba familia aremu hawa malo abina hawa gialo uwa masereme lo gaba futi wabureme Lichigun igundani luma igame rilina wabagari. Ikogu ni duhe.